Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. It's 18 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. And in our second hour, we're starting off talking about Girls of Impact Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us is Renee Atwell, founder and executive director of Girls of Impact. And we have with us program coordinator Olivia Joseph. Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, Renee, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us this morning.
It's a pleasure to have you both on the show. Welcome back and welcome.
Thank you.
I know this is the beginning of a journey for you, that is for sure, because it's one thing we know when Girls of Impact steps up, everybody ends up stepping out and their life transforms. Before we get into that though, Renee, let's talk a little bit about Girls of Impact and what you do for the women of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, thank you so much for having us this morning again. Girls of Impact is a nonprofit organization and community for young women in Trinidad and Tobago. We were officially founded in 2022, and what we do essentially is have programs that enhance the personal and professional development of young women. So we do mainly mentorship, we do leadership training, and we also inspire young women to give back, instilling within them those values of civic responsibility. And so I really thought it necessary that we have these programs for young women, especially those who are in underserved communities, to get access to resources so that they can develop and contribute more positively to our society.
Now, Renee, as the founder, right, is it that you perhaps identified a gap, or was there a critical moment that made you realize there's time to fill this space?
Most definitely. So I do have a history in youth leadership. I served as Trinidad and Tobago's CARICOM Youth Ambassador from 2020 to 2023. And in that capacity, I also served as the Dean of the CARICOM Youth Ambassador Corps, of course, helping to work with youth leaders from across the region. And having worked with these youth leaders, I think one of the things that came out a lot was the lack of mentorship, particularly for young women within their various communities. And I thought to myself, well, listen, if I reflect on my journey as a professional, I didn't really have those resources to connect me to where I wanted to be. While I was studying in the entry level of my career, I lacked those resources. And so I thought, I feel as if an organization is needed, a space, a community where young women can access these resources to develop themselves. And that's essentially how the idea was birthed for Girls of Impact.
And now we have the Accelerate Her Career Mentorship Program. Walk us through the creation and what makes this unique specifically to Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, Accelerate Her is our flagship program because Girls of Impact is a mentorship type organization. An accelerator is essentially a career accelerator where we connect young women in Trinidad and Tobago with industry leaders, with professionals and entrepreneurs who are in fields that they want to get into. So for example, we may have a young woman who wants to become a doctor. We will actually match her with a senior doctor who would help guide her in terms of what studies she should do, where she should apply for work, how she should tailor her CV, and what steps generally she should take to become successful in her career.
You know, it's interesting as you say that because I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I know many women who would have gone through the same thing, but I'm also just saying that there is a gap for the other gender, but we'll get to that at another point in time. Olivia, good morning again and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Let's talk about the program. How would you say that it supports young women in navigating their career path and building leadership skills?
Well, the program really allows a safe space for persons to network, which is big. Some persons do not have the ability or the space, you know, environment for them to network and be aligned with persons in their career development. So it provides a space for persons to network, for persons to kind of ask those questions that they never had answered. That it also provides a place where they can talk to their peers, and they can also you know, have someone
bounce ideas off of sort of thing.
Yeah, basically.
This is why it seems so good, because it's that space of when you were getting ready in your career, or even something as simple as choosing your subjects, you were like, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. So now you have somebody who you can look to and say, okay, you were just like me at some point in time. Let's talk about your experience, because this is the third cohort, and you would have taken part last year. What was your experience like?
Yes, so last year I attended the career workshop, which was very essential for me in building confidence in my interview. We had a leader in HR. She provided us with interview skills, what we should do in the resume building, and that really helped me feel more prepared and confident in the interview. She talked about personal branding and how important that is. And I took those tasks and applied it to my interview, which I was actually successful with last year. So I think it will bring more confidence to young women out there, and it gives them the opportunity to ask those industry leaders questions that they may not have gotten the answered during school. So I think it really provides that safe space for young women.
That's one of the most important things, a safe space for young women to have those conversations, especially men. Sometimes you're not even sure exactly what you want to do, so learning firsthand. And speaking about firsthand, tell us, what can we expect from Accelerator 2025?
Well, Accelerator is a three-part program. The program has three main components. Firstly, it's mentorship. So it's small group mentorship. So mentees can expect to be paired with mentors in a field that they want to get into. We also have career development workshops. So we have about 9 workshops or so on topics such as personal branding, networking, crafting your CV, how to do interview skills, mental health. All of these skills that are important for young women to succeed in the workplace, they can expect to benefit from those. And we also have a community service component, because as I said before, we aim to nurture the holistic young woman, and so they will be taken into different volunteer organizations where they can give back and foster that sense of civic engagement.
Now, this being the 3rd year and everything that you've just mentioned there, I'm sure that you've seen participation grow. So do you have a cap on how many people can be a part of this, and where can we get more information? How can we apply all of the details?
Yes. So we usually take 60 young women each year from both Trinidad and Tobago. We usually get about 150 applications, but we can't take all, of course, because of resource constraints. But we take 60 young women from both islands, so young women from Trinidad and Tobago can apply. The application is on all of our social media platforms. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn at Girls of Impact T&T or Girls of Impact 868, where they can access the application form to fill out the form, and where they will indicate what is their industry interest. And of course, we will process the applications and we will match them with a mentor accordingly.
Is there a cost for applying for this program?
Yes, so we have a small registration fee of $150, which covers nominal cost because the program is a hybrid program. So we have some sessions that are in person and some sessions that are virtual. So the registration fee, will be able to cover some of the costs associated particularly with the in-person events. And of course, the young women can expect to receive a certificate of completion at the end of the program.
Wonderful. So equitable access,
yes,
of course.
Yes.
And what about the age group for this? Because from what I'm hearing, we're looking at maybe secondary school, going into university, that sort of thing.
Well, this year we're looking at 18 to 30. It's a very wide age range. So within that group, we typically tend to have tertiary students, entry-level professionals, or persons that have been working for just a number of years, but they're looking for clarity in terms of their career and where they want to go. So that is particularly the age group that we're looking at.
Wonderful. Now, as you mentioned, looking for clarity, Olivia, after participating in this, did you get that clarity as to where you would like to guide yourself career-wise and, I mean, in life in general?
Yes, so I am currently in hospitality, that is the industry I study, and I think what the program does is truly open up your eyes as to what you can do outside of what you are going towards. So for me, I saw a need for young women, and I wanted to be a part of something bigger, and the program really opens up in terms of community service, as well as it helps you in terms of putting yourself out there and networking, and it helps you in terms of your career because it gives you spaces to interact with persons that you really wouldn't in your day-to-day. So I think it helps persons put themselves out there.
Now, one of the things, of course, that alludes to is the networking perspective portion, which you have mentioned as well. But what about those who are interested in supporting the initiative? Do you have those connections, or do you build those connections with companies, working professionals, and corporate entities?
Most definitely. So we do have a lot of opportunities still available. We are looking for facilitators for various sessions, as well as we do partner with corporate Trinidad and Tobago to support this initiative. Persons can contact us via info@girlsofimpact.org. Of course, we do have a very generous package in terms of being able to offer those mutually beneficial offers for corporate Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, this really is an initiative where if you support it, you're supporting gender equality, you're supporting the sustainable development goals, you're supporting investing in the next generation of young women leaders. And so I think it's an excellent initiative for companies, organizations that might be looking for something to invest in, but also for professionals who may be experts in their various fields. We are looking for persons to help facilitate on topics such as personal branding, CVs, interviews, mental health, and those holistic development areas that will support these young women as we hope that they will thrive in the workplace.
And would it also be open for those who are interested in being mentors, or do you have a particular selection process?
Well, we've closed off our applications for mentors, and we usually take about 15 to 20 mentors each year. I think we got about 45 to 50 applications this year. So we are in the process this week of processing our mentor applications, because we usually tend to select mentors first, because we need to make sure that we have those areas to fill before we match the mentees, because we match primarily on the basis of interests, career interests. So we are in the process of selecting our mentors right now. So that is unfortunately closed off, but we do still have, of course, opportunities for those who wish to facilitate and, of course, just generally support the program. The opportunity exists.
Just shy of 30 seconds left, but I do have to ask, I mean, there's so much packed into this program. What sort of commitments are we looking at time-wise on a daily basis?
So in terms of the program, all of these sessions are after hours. So our workshop sessions are usually between the hours of 7 to 8 p.m. weekdays, and some of our in-person sessions are only on Saturdays. So it is open for persons who are working as well as in school.
Wonderful. Well, Renee and Olivia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure to have you on set. All the best, and looking forward to having you back again.
Thank you so much.
Right. Girls of Impact Trinidad and Tobago, make sure that you check them out on social media and see how you can support this initiative. Stay tuned. The Now Morning Show will be back after this break.
Fire.